But now Erik Osberg is going to join us from Otter Tail Lakes Country to talk about what's happening in that Otter Tail County area. Erik, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Some sad news in the fishing world this week.
It was, yeah. Ron, the word legend gets tossed around a lot, but Ron Lindner was a legend for sure.
You had the chance to interview him?
I did, yeah. When I back in the day, I worked for WDIO TV, and when the show Angler's Edge, Lindner's Angler's Edge came out, our TV station carried that program. So as a preview of that new show coming out, I went and interviewed him, and that was 20 years ago. And he talked about how because I was asking him the in fisherman days, and he was like, I'm looking forward. I'm looking ahead. I've got things I want to accomplish. And I would say that anybody who's ever recorded a fishing video or watched a fishing video, owes a little bit of credit to Ron Lindner and that whole family. They kept innovating the whole time, and we're indebted to them for that.
I can't believe that was 20 years ago. Making me feel old, yeah. Erik. Which is one thing. I've read a couple of quotes from people when they talked about Ron, and when you talk about how old he was. I don't think he ever seemed that old, according to the people that were closest to him. He was constantly working and moving forward and trying to innovate and just keep moving, keep working. And I often describe Brainerd, and you and I both have been in the TV business and the outdoor TV business. And when I tell people about Brainerd, when it comes to outdoor television, in particular fishing shows, I call it the Hollywood of the outdoor industry. And
Absolutely.
And it is, and it was for sure. And when you think about the legends, to borrow a term that you've used, to describe some of these icons in the fishing industry, I mean, they were there at the beginning. We're all in debt to these guys for doing what we're able to do today.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is they kept evolving, they kept changing as the technologies changed. That's a really good description. It was a Hollywood of the fishing filming industry, and they kept raising the bar. And Ron and the whole family, and Al and Billy, and that Lindner name, and now with Troy, and you know what I mean. It's going generations, and we all have a little bit of debt owed to them.
That name is synonymous with fishing television and fishing in general. I mean, not just do you have to be good at doing a TV show. There's so many people, Erik, and you will understand this too. There's a lot of people that are really good at, say, fishing or really good at hunting, but they're terrible on camera. They're terrible communicators. And to look at the Lindners like that and to be able to be so good at fishing and knowing fishing and understanding fish and breaking down a lake and designing tackle and designing fishing gear, and then to also be able to communicate that in a way that's not only relatable but educational, informative, and fun to watch and entertaining. That's a complete package, and there are a lot of people in the outdoor industry that don't have that, unfortunately.
And I would add to make it profitable as well, right?
That's right.
Like I like to think that I was a pretty good communicator and all that stuff that, but I couldn't make it profitable, which is why I have a day job. But the Lindners, they knew how to make it last, staying power.
Making it profitable is the hardest part, I think, about it, as many people will attest to these days. But man, I'll think of all the products and all the innovations they had in the fishing industry, and to be at the heart of it all, just good fishermen and good anglers. Part of being a good angler, I can equate it to hunting. Part of being a good hunter is being a good scouter, and being a good angler is going out and scouting and knowing what the fish are doing, being on the water a lot, knowing what the lakes are like, and knowing what the ice conditions are like. And I know you've been out and about doing that in Otter Tail County lately, haven't you?
Yeah, we've been, and I've been kind of quiet about it because you don't want to give somebody a false sense of security.
Right.
But I will say that within the last few days, Otter Tail Lake, I was in a boat on Otter Tail Lake on Saturday night, right? Like Otter Tail Lake was wide open. There was maybe a little bit of ice by the landing, but I would say 75% of the lakes were wide open. It was hard to find any lakes with ice just last weekend. And now the middle of this week, we're starting to see Otter Tail Lake is capped over. Now it doesn't mean you can go ice fishing, but we've got ice across the whole thing. There's still some lakes that are wide open, but more and more as you drive down the road, you're seeing lakes that are capped over. And we've been able to find 4.5 inches of fishable ice. And again, we're taking every safety precaution that we can. Number one, we're not going alone, right? Like I'm not going to just go out there by myself, use the buddy system. We're bringing the ropes, we're bringing the life jackets, we're traveling light. We're taking every precaution. We're checking the ice, not only with a spud bar, but we're drilling a hole and actually, actually measuring the ice. And so, but yeah, we're starting to get some fishable ice around here. And if the temps can just stay below freezing, we might be ready to rock and roll full bore here soon.
Everybody I'm talking to around here has been out checking ice too, and they're all like, "Gosh, hopefully by this weekend." And I just have a more realistic attitude towards things. Sometimes I'm an optimist, sometimes I'm a pessimist. Generally, I'm a realist. And I'm also a hunter, so I can wait for ice fishing. But so many people are excited about it. But I did see somebody post a long range forecast on social media a few days back, and they said that sometime next week it's supposed to be back in the 50s. So
I might have winterized my boat too soon. I thought I had timed it just right? Like I got that one more trip in on a Saturday night. And I was like, all right, now I'm going to winterize it. So maybe I'll have to winterize it twice. We'll see.
I mean, weathermen have been wrong before. So you never know, I guess. But I think I just want the sloughs to freeze over. I did go over both my boots pheasant hunting the other day for the first time this year. And I should have known better. Like it was a place where I know I can't cross. Like even in cold weather, I've gone over my boots in that spot, broken through ice and gone over my boots. But I was like, it's a dry year. It's kind of low. I might be. And I was kind of trying to work around the deep spot. I'm like, I bet I can get across here. Because otherwise, I'd have to walk like at least a quarter mile back to my vehicle, drive around the section, and walk about a mile from the other direction to get to this spot that I want to hunt pheasants at. But if I just run really fast across the ice, I can sometimes and I never been able to. I break through every single time. So I think that's why the pheasants are there, because it's so hard to get to it. So then I always just go around and make the whole hike down and usually find them in there. But the other day I was like, the water's low this year. I think I can make it. No, I went up to my waist. I actually went up to my waist.
Really?
And let me tell you, as you know, when you go into cold water up to your waist, it's a little shock to the system, if you know what I mean.
It's a little colder than cold water up to your knees, that's for sure. Oh
gosh. So yeah, dumped the water out of both my boots and kept hunting at that point. It was a fairly decent day, just the water was a bit cold. So it's a little different
Next time it'll work. Next time you'll make it through.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying. You'll make the cut. Gosh, and it's one thing to be pheasant hunting, to break through ice like that on a slough, because you're moving around, you're warmed up, and it's easy usually to get out of it. It's a little different story when you're going out ice fishing. I ice fished one slough early last year, and in fact, it was like this, where it froze over and we got 3-4 inches of ice. We walked out. It's not a real deep lake, so like, all right, a bunch of us went out, and then it got pretty warm. It got into the 40s that day. And I was with 2 other guys, and they leave early. And I was like, gosh, I just want to fish that sundown. Yeah. I want the walleyes to move in at sunset. So I kind of hung out and realized I forgot my headlamp once the sun went down. And it's all walking. So you have to walk in and walk out the whole way. So I had a good trek in front of me in the dark. And
you want the walleyes to move in at sunset.
And as the sun went down, and I think I caught one fish, and I was like, all right, I've sketched out enough. I need to get out of here. And it was all walk in and walk out. I had to walk a ways on the ice to get out of there. And as the sun went down, I realized I didn't have my headlamp. So I had to break down this hub house and pack it in a bag and load up my sled, put everything away in complete darkness for the most part, and then walk across this lake without any sort of lights. And I made it, but I was definitely like, there was a couple moments where I was like, this is dumb. This is really dumb. And then like 2 days later, that lake was wide open again, and that ice had melted, and we had open water again. So,
right, yeah, that being alone is hard, right? Like, because if something goes wrong, there's no one there to help.
Right.
So,
it's different when there's 2 feet of ice. It's a little bit different,
right.
But early ice,
you're driving your truck out to your shack and all that.
Yeah.
It's a long season. It'll happen eventually. Eventually we'll have good ice. I hope that whatever forecast that you saw was wrong, but
same.
Hopefully we can get below zero and stay there for a while.
Well, it's funny you bring up last Saturday being the last time you're in your boat, because we had probably the most geese on our refuge here at Lac Parle all season last Saturday, and then Sunday hit. And it got real calm and cold Sunday night or whatever. And I remember driving by the lake on Monday morning and seeing like 90% of the lake covered up, except for where the geese were. Well, ice fishing will be here soon enough, though. And if people want to learn a little bit more about ice fishing in Otter Tail Lakes Country, where should they go, Erik?
They can find their inner otter at ottertaillakescountry.com.
Looking for winter adventure? Might as well pick a place with over 1,000 lakes. Otter Tail County, Minnesota is in the middle of everywhere, offers a simpler pace, and has something for everyone. Find your inner otter at ottertaillakescountry.com.